We begin our report with day 2 of testimony from a key witness in the New York criminal trial of Donald Trump. The jury heard from David Pecker, the former longtime publisher of the National Enquirer. Prosecutors say Pecker purchased negative stories about Trump for the purpose of never publishing them, a practice known as catch and kill. But Trump's comments about other potential witnesses were the first order of business in court Tuesday. Prosecutors argued the former president has repeatedly broken a gag order which forbids him from talking about witnesses and jurors, among others, and want the judge to hold Trump in contempt for his social media posts. Trump and his legal team say he's just responding to others' attacks.
I think it's a disgrace. It's totally unconstitutional. I don't believe it's never, not to this extent, ever happened before. I'm not allowed to defend myself, and yet other people are allowed to say whatever they want about me. Very, very unfair.
CBS News campaign reporter and attorney Katrina Kaufman joins me now. Katrina, it's good to see you here instead of in Lower Manhattan. How did this discussion go about the gag order with the judge?
It did not go well for Donald Trump today. It was very contentious. It was very heated. They were trying to say that he's just responding to political attacks, and really he's just reposting what other people are putting up, and they claim that doesn't violate the gag order. And the judge asked them to show him case law, evidence that supports this, and Todd Blanche, Trump's attorney, said, I don't have any case law, it's just common sense. And then he proceeded to say that President Trump, as he calls him, is doing his best to comply with this gag order, at which point the judge just got really irate and said, Mr. Blanche, you are losing all credibility in this court. And I noticed after this, Blanche always sits in the lead attorney seat next to Trump, and he and Trump's attorney, Emile Beauvais, switch spots for the rest of the day.
You don't want to anger a judge. Now, this didn't take place in front of the jury, right?
This was not in front of the jury. This was before the jury came in.
But you still don't want to anger a judge who's going to have to rule and oversee your case.
Exactly,
yeah.
Yes.
We saw there former President Trump said this is unconstitutional. Remind us where this gag order comes from and the balance here that the judge is trying to find.
Of course, the judge is trying to prevent this culture of threat and intimidation from infringing upon the fairness of this case proceeding. And this has been an issue in pretty much all of Trump's cases. During the civil fraud trial, he was putting up posts about the judge's law clerk, and she was receiving a barrage of attacks. The judges in, I think, almost all of his cases have received credible threats, and this is really to protect the witnesses, the jurors, the court staff, their families, and the integrity of the judicial process.
Speaking of witnesses, David Pecker was on for a second day. It felt like the first day, well, he wasn't there too terribly long. Tell us why he's crucial to this case and what happened today.
He played a key role in the catch and kill scheme that you were describing. And part of what he's doing, too, is bolstering Michael Cohen's testimony, who really has his own credibility issues. But today we learned what a key role Pecker really played, and also his relationship with Michael Cohen, who he apparently was showing him National Enquirer headlines and stories about Trump's political opponents, for example, such as Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, and they were putting out really smear stories when they were doing well in the polls. Right. Another thing that was noticeable is even though he's testifying against Trump, he's very warm towards him. He called him the most eligible bachelor who got all of the most beautiful women, and he knew that women were going to come forward with these stories when Trump was running for president. And he talked towards the end about this notable conversation when they were exploring the Karen McDougal story. And he said that Michael Cohen was calling him constantly during this period. He even had them switch to Signal, the encrypted app, because he felt like landlines weren't safe. And then Pecker had a conversation with Donald Trump, who asked him what Pecker thought that he should do. And Pecker said, I think that you should buy the story. She's shopping it around. You don't want it to come out. And very ironically, Trump said, oh, I don't buy stories. That always tends to come out. And it just felt really interesting to be sitting in this courtroom about Stormy Daniels and these charges and hear that line.
Right. Katrina Kaufman, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.